I believe that music had the power to change my life, and God had the power to change my life. Jesus is for everybody. Jesus is not owned by one political party. Jesus is Jesus, and anybody can have a relationship with him. I love you, Lord.
What church do he preach at, and what time does service start? Because I need to be there.
I really hate to say it, but I really don't give two fucks about Jesus.
So, Jelly Roll, Kendrick Lamar, thank y'all for pointing out who really put you in this position.
And I absolutely love how she gave us full satanic ritual realness right after that mega church vibe speech.
And you might as well have just said, I am MAGA, I don't give a fuck about these immigrants, these people that are being taken by ICE.
And he has given a message to people, and it's that the broken and the black sheep and the counted out can change their lives by the grace of God. And
it's the same stage, the same speech, two completely different responses. And somehow, it became divisive. Let's talk about it. Hey there. Thanks for being here, and if this is your first time on the channel, my name's Chris, and Kingdom Chronicles is a space where we slow down and talk about faith, life, and all the stuff in between. Today I want to talk about something that happened at the Grammys. Now, it's not because I think it was controversial, but it's more so because of the reaction to it. I'm talking about Jelly Roll's speech. And if you're not familiar with Jelly Roll, he's an artist who's been really open about his past, his addictions, his prison time, and his loss. And honestly, he's really open about the role that faith and family have played in turning his life around. His speech was simple. It was honest, it was full of gratitude, and somehow it became divisive. Let's talk about it. So this past weekend, on one of the biggest stages in the music industry at the Grammy Awards, Jelly Roll gave a speech that, on the surface, was pretty simple. He thanked God for his life, he thanked his wife for saving his life, and he reflected honestly on where he came from, where he is now, and there was no politics involved, there was no jabs, no call to action, it was just gratitude. It was just his testimony. And yet, if you look at the conversation that's been going on in the past few days, the reaction is split right down the middle. Some people are praising the speech, calling it powerful, refreshing, and deeply human, while others are criticizing the speech, labeling it as a mega speech, simply because he talked about God. And that disconnect is what I want to chat about today. Not to argue, but to really understand. Now, what stood out to me, it wasn't the outrage, but it was the interpretation, because everyone saw the same speech. They heard the same words, they heard the same tone, but people walked away hearing very different things. And this part really stuck with me. What's interesting isn't just what Jelly Roll said, it's what people heard. The same words that landed as hope for some, they threatened others. And that, I think, is worth slowing down and sitting with. Because when the same message produces opposite reactions, it usually means that the issue isn't the message at all. It's the lens that we're viewing it through. But before I go any further, I think it's important to actually hear the speech itself. There's a lot of conversation happening right now, and it's built on headlines, reactions, and interpretations. But not everyone has heard his words all the way through. So before we analyze it, before we label it, before we react, let's take a listen. Here's Jelly Roll's full speech from the Grammys.
I know they're going to try to kick me off here, so just let me try to get this out. First of all, Jesus, I hear you and I'm listening, Lord. I am listening, Lord. Second of all, I want to thank my beautiful wife. I would have never changed my life without you. I'd have ended up dead or in jail. I'd have killed myself if it wasn't for you and Jesus. I thank you for that. I thank you for my label, Broken Bow, Country Radio, baby. What's up, dog? Oh, Republic, John Manili, we did it, baby. There was a time in my life, y'all, that I was broken. That's why I wrote this album. I didn't think I had a chance, y'all. There was days that I thought the darkest things. I was a horrible human. There was a moment in my life that all I had was a Bible this big and a radio the same size and a 6x8 foot cell. And I believed that those two things could change my life. I believed that music had the power to change my life and God had the power to change my life. And I want to tell y'all right now, Jesus is for everybody. Jesus is not owned by one political party. Jesus is not owned by no music label. Jesus is Jesus, and anybody can have a relationship with him. I love you, Lord.
Okay, so that was it. That was the speech. No edits, no subtext, no agenda, just gratitude. Now, maybe this just dates me a little, but I remember when acceptance speeches at award shows were pretty straightforward. People would thank God sometimes. They thank their family. They thank the people who helped them get them there, the people who were behind the work that they're being congratulated for. And I think that was the point. But somewhere along the way, award ceremonies, they stopped being just about gratitude, and they became another stage. Just another place where people expect a statement, something political, cultural, even ideological. And I think part of what's happening here is that Jelly Roll didn't do that. For some critics, the issue isn't what he said, but it's what he didn't say. He didn't speak against what they consider bad behavior. He didn't distance himself from certain beliefs. He didn't use the moment the way that they wanted him to. In other words, some people are just upset because Jelly Roll didn't turn gratitude into advocacy. Instead of paraphrasing that criticism, I want you to actually hear it. Here's some of the negative things that I've been hearing people say.
Yeah, so this is for Jelly Roll. You keep on getting up on stage screaming about Jesus and God, but you also just said Jesus has no political party, and you might as well have just said, I am MAGA, I don't give a fuck about these immigrants, these people that are being taken by ICE, the way women's rights are being stripped, gay, trans, black, brown people are being treated in this country. So you can keep that. Because, if that's the kind of Christian you want to be, I want no part of it. Also, we get it. You went to jail, and now you're out. And now you're just rich and famous. So, it doesn't really fucking matter.
The fact that Jelly Roll's Jesus speech was sandwiched between Bad Bunny's Ice Out speech and Lady Gaga's performance was wild. Bad Bunny won the award for Best Música Urbana album. In his speech, he began by acknowledging what's going on in our country with ICE, saying ICE out, and went on to give a really beautiful message about love versus hate.
We're not savage, we're not animals, we're not aliens, we are humans, and we are Americans.
Right after Jelly Roll won the Grammy for Best Country Album of the Year, he followed with a very loud speech about Jesus.
Jesus is for everybody. Jesus is not owned by one political party. Jesus is not owned by no music label. Jesus is Jesus, and anybody can have a relationship with him. I love you, Lord.
Which is fine. I do think, though, since he loves Jesus so much, that I wish he would talk to his friends about Jesus and what his teachings actually were about. We all know Jelly Roll is a convicted felon, so we know he didn't vote, but personally, I feel like it's obvious who he would have voted for if he could have. Immediately following his speech, Lady Gaga gave the performance of the year. And I absolutely love how she gave us full satanic ritual realness right after that megachurch vibe speech. We really needed that as kind of like a cleanse. And then right after, she actually
Saying that you need full satanic ritualness as a cleanse, that's wild to me.
First and foremost, I want to give Jelly Roll a shout out for losing all that weight. He looks so good. He went from Jelly Roll to Spring Roll. With that said, he should have read the room last night. ICE out. The ICE protest was the topic last night. Instead of calling out the atrocities that ICE is inflicting on every U.S. city, he took us to church. You don't have to be an expert to speak out against bad behavior. I know some celebrities probably don't feel informed enough to comment on what's going on, but look, it's not that hard to turn on the TV and see what the fuck's going on.
I didn't have a phone for 18 months. I've had one for 4 months and don't have social media. I hate to be the artist and static aloof, but I've become so disconnected from what's happening. And I'm just not I grew up in a house of insane pandemonium and I didn't even know politics were fucking real until I was in my mid-20s in jail. That's how disconnected. When you grow up in a drug addict household, you think we have common calls about what's happening in world politics? We're just trying to find a way to survive, man, And I have a lot to say about it, and I'm going to it the next week, and everybody's going to hear exactly what I have to say about it in the most loud and clear way I've ever spoken in my life. So I look forward to it. Thank you for bringing it up.
Is Jelly Roll gonna write a song about ICE? That's what I got from the last comments of his speech.
Okay, y'all, so last thing about the Grammys. Jelly Roll gets on stage and he's talking about how God is not about a party. He loves everybody. God is for everybody. We know that, do you? Because you support the party that is the Antichrist. You support the party that is in the files. You support the party that has done harm to children. You support the party that is full of PD.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought that people on both sides were caught in the files. I don't know. Let me know in the comments.
That is full of PDFs. You will support the party that is harmful to women. So I'm really trying to understand it. And I really get sick of these people. He's the classic guy who went to jail and now he's all sought religion. You know, he's the guy who was overweight, into drugs, you know, in jail, and he's a redemption story. And oh, God brought him out of it. But yet you support a party of hate. Make it make sense. It doesn't. And this is exactly why when y'all get up there and y'all be spouting that Christianity and you believe this and that, and then your actions actually show you align with something different, we don't believe you. You're literally participating in the Klan rally that's going on in opposition to the Super Bowl. You're literally on the ticket, sir.
That's crazy to me and I know which one she's talking about, but that's crazy to me. She's calling it a Klan rally. Oy.
You try to say you're not political, but then you support all of the things. You say that you respect the office, but respecting the office doesn't mean you have to respect the person in the office. That's not synonymous. You can respect that there's an office of the presidency, but you can also say the person that's in the office right now does not deserve respect because they give none. You can say that. You can say that God loves us all, but you're supporting the people that are kicking out people of this country when, like Billie Eilish said, no one is an immigrant on stolen land. So he can miss us with all of that. And I need everybody to wake up to the fact that just because he's got tats and wears his big ass chains, diamond-studded chains, and he does music with black people, doesn't mean that he's for black people. Matter of fact, the people that he does music with are actually against black people. The black people are against black people. So let's start platforming this dude, please, because y'all want to give him so much praise and, oh, he's so nice and he speaks all this Christianity. Those be the main ones. And this is why y'all are always getting bamboozled, because you think if someone mentions the Bible, then that means they're godly. Trump had the Bible too. Get it together.
Wow.
I really hate to say it, but I really don't give two fucks about Jesus. I really don't. I don't like, oh my God, I view the Bible like I view the Hunger Games. It's a work of fiction. Oh, in my eyes, it's just a book. I really don't care, and I'm living life and I'm loving it, and I'm blessed. I'm blessed. But I'm not trying to like convert or shove down this whole concept of Jesus Christ down anyone's throats. And like, why are y'all doing it to me? It is so strange and bizarre. Like, I'm happy for you if it's, I'm literally happy for you if that's your tea. I really am. Oh, Gaga's on. I have to go. That's my Jesus.
Gotta take a quick pause. If you're still with me and you're enjoying this conversation, go ahead and hit that like button. Or subscribe if you want more of this kind of content. It lets YouTube know that you're into this, and it helps get these conversations in front of more people. All right, let's get back to it. So again, it's the same speech, but listen to how much meaning gets assigned to words that were never actually said. This is what happens when gratitude is no longer enough. When silence is treated like endorsement. When not taking a side is seen as taking the wrong side. In my opinion, one of the most important things that Jelly Roll said, almost in passing, was that Jesus isn't owned by one political party. That line matters more than people realize, because right now, faith often gets treated like a mascot, something to be claimed, something to be weaponized. But Jelly Roll didn't do that. He didn't use God to make a point. He talked about God because that's who he credits for saving his life. And there's a difference between using faith and testifying about it. And honestly, I think that we've gotten really bad at telling those two things apart. But that criticism isn't the full picture, because there are a lot of people who heard something very different in that same moment. Here are some of the reactions of people who felt encouraged, they felt seen, or hopeful because of what Jelly Roll said. Check this out. Jelly Roll had the only good speech tonight at the Grammys. Everyone else's was stupid. Simple.
I've been seeing a lot of mixed reactions about Jelly Roll's acceptance speech at the Grammys this year, so let's talk about it. Jelly Roll won the award tonight for Best Contemporary Country Album, and during his acceptance speech, he gave a sweet shout out to his wife, Bunny XO. He says, "I would have never changed my life without you. I would have been dead or in jail." He also says, "I would have unalived myself if it wasn't for you and Jesus." He talks about how he wrote this album at a time where he was broken, and he also thanks Jesus in his speech and says that he is listening. Jelly Roll says that music and God changed his life. And in his speech, he also emphasizes that Jesus is for everybody. And Jesus is not owned by one political party. Jesus is not owned by no music label. Jesus is Jesus. And anybody can have a relationship with him. Again, this got a lot of mixed reactions from people online. Some people are like, why is he shoving Christianity down our throats? Other people are calling him MAGA. I don't know much about Jelly Roll, so I don't know his political stance or anything like that. But I really like what he said about Jesus not having a political party. I'm Catholic, and I hate that Catholicism and Christianity is so deeply associated with Republican MAGA, because trust and believe I am the furthest thing from a Republican MAGA. So I don't know, personally, I liked that he emphasized that Jesus has no political party, and I think that goes for any religion. But let me know your thoughts on his speech down below, and follow me for more Grammys coverage.
I'm only one drink away from
I'm so happy for him. Oh my
I'm
God.
only one call away from home. Yeah, I'm somewhere in the middle. I guess I'm just a...
I love that energy.
The Grammys just came on, and I'll tell you what, I'm about to be 45 years old this year, and I'm usually not excited for the Grammys anymore because I don't know half of who they nominate. But let me tell you what I'm hyped about tonight, okay? My boy Jelly Roll is up for 3 Grammys tonight, but I love him as a man, and he has given a message to people, the very same message that I founded Trailer Park Avenue on. And it's that the broken and the black sheep and the counted out can change their lives by the grace of God, and we can use the things that we've been through as a great testimony. And I don't give a shit what you think about him, but he's put in the work to better his life, better his bloodline, better his family, to create a career, to create a legacy, and I'm so, so proud of him as a member of the We Do Recover community and doing it his own way on his own terms. And that's exactly what we aspire.
Hey, so Jelly Roll made me bawl my eyes out, and now I'm listening to Abracadabra.
That storm keeps on raging, but don't you forget, God's not done with you yet.
Jelly Roll's turning the Grammys acceptance speech into a testimony and a sermon has got to be the best thing I've ever seen. I like that.
Watching the Grammys and Jelly Roll just won country album, and I just want to know, what church do he preach at, and what time does service start? Because I need to be there.
Again, it's the same stage, the same speech, 2 completely different responses. And this is where the conversation really opens up. Moments like this act like a mirror, because when someone says that God saved my life and immediately we hear agenda, that says something. Not really about the speaker, but more about the environment that we're living in. Some people heard hope, while others heard threats. Not because Jelly Roll changed his message, but because we're trained to listen defensively nowadays. We brace ourselves, we assume intent, and we prepare for conflict. Honestly, I think it's exhausting. What I appreciated most is what Jelly Roll didn't do. He didn't weaponize his faith. He didn't preach at people. He didn't frame himself as morally superior. He just told the truth about his life, about his addiction, his redemption, the gratitude that he felt. That's not politics. That's testimony, and that's his testimony. It was honest, and it didn't demand agreement. It just needed to be heard. Now, I don't think moments like this are choosing sides. I actually think that they're invitations to slow down and stop labeling everything so quickly. It's a learning moment, really. We need to allow people to share what matters with them without immediately sorting it into a box. And maybe, just maybe, the most radical thing that you can do right now isn't making a statement, but it's just telling the truth about what saved you. If you want to see more from the creators of those clips that I shared today, or check out more of their comments, I've linked the content in the description. Give them credit where credit is due, and just go and check them out. And I genuinely love to hear your thoughts. When you heard Jelly Roll's speech, how did it make you feel? Were you hopeful, or did it make you uncomfortable? Let's talk about it in the comments, but please be respectful. See you in the next one.